Hey, this is Phil Lilley, Lilley's Landing Resort in Marina on Lake Taneycomo. Going to do one cast today. It's the 15th. I'm almost positive. Yeah. I was going to say it's August 15th because it feels like August. Feels like May, maybe. It's in the 70s. There's a lot of wind, but not right the moment. They are running, I don't know what they're running. The gauge is not working. It looks like they're dropping the lake. I think they've been running 3 or better. Okay, back on. Yeah, they ran 3, starting at 8, 9, dropped it to 2.5, dropped it, well, brought it back up to 3, 2.5. Now it's down to 1 or 2 units. And it's kind of what it looks like, about 2. So, okay. Table Rock's 912, almost and a half. I'm not sure why they're running this much water. Maybe it's because everybody's got their air conditioners on. I know that if Blake was out here, he'd be dragging jerk baits. And I thought about it, but I just don't really care to drag jerk baits. The white jig has been working so well, so I thought I'd try it. I'd tied on a couple of 1/8 ounce, thinking it was going to be 3 units when I got up here, but with the wind, 4-pound line, 1/8 ounce jigs, it's good. You can hear it. It's gusting, I think, more than anything, but they were talking about 50, 60 mile an hour gust today. We still might get it with the storm front coming through about 2 or 3 in the morning. But I'm just below Lookout, right in front of Andy's house, and I'm just going to work this going down, probably stay kind of close to the shallow and throwing out to the middle. Yesterday, John and Brent were out here, and John said that Brent threw white jigs all day and he caught a lot of nice fish, so kind of hoping. We'll see if the big ones are going to be biting. Okay. Back up just a little bit. The sun is pretty bright. I brought one rod with a 2-pound line, which I might switch to if I feel like I need to. I could go over and work the left bank. Haven't done that in a long time. A heavier jig works a lot better in the wind. So that's kind of the reason that, and I thought they were around 3 units. Kind of sitting in an eddy, so I'm going to push myself down. I think it's slowing down even more. wind's kind of out of the west, so it's going to be blowing me that direction. Also thought about just dragging egg fly, scud, salmon worm, something like that. Probably work pretty good. It would be a little difficult with this wind, but not terrible. We still hadn't figured out why they're hitting the white so well, but sometimes you don't have to figure it out, you just go with it. Ooh, got a little close to the bank. I'm gonna get out in the current. Talked to a couple of guys using white rooster tails up here yesterday, and they caught some nice fish. They had a 21-inch rainbow. I'm about ready to second guess myself. kind of working my way over to the bluff. I ain't got a touch yet. The wind's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Of course, it's blowing down, but down lake. Oh, first cast to the bank and I got a bite. What are they doing? Huh. Ooh. Get off the leaf. Yesterday and the day before, the water was really silty. Today it's really clear. Oh! Man, that felt like a white bass hit. Wow. I don't think that was a trout. It was very sharp. That's the only way I can put it. The bite was very sharp, like a very hard mouth fish. which we catch bass along here fairly often. I just got a feeling if I catch anything, it's going to be pretty good size. Because the small ones aren't biting. I think I would have caught one by now if the small ones are biting. Should have wore a short sleeve shirt. Hot. See the bottom of her fish. So funny. I think I'm going to throw, I've got a 1/16 ounce white on 2-pound test. I think I'm going to throw that just so I can work it a little slower. Sorry. Comes Blake. I can tell by his chartreuse shirt. I got an idea. So I think I know what he's gonna do. It'll be the first time we'd ever do this. What were you going to throw?
Well, of course, I rigged up jerk baits and drag because the water was running like crazy, and now it's dropped off.
Well, I figured you would. Why don't you take the camera and finish out one cast? Because I ain't got a bite. Oh, I got some bites.
I mean, I'll try it, but I feel like the water is starting to...
Yeah, but you're going to do better than me. Can't do any worse.
Well, that is a good point.
So, you guys are going to go with Blake.
2-part 1 cast today.
Never done this before. Go ahead and put it on your seat like I did, because you're right in the sun.
Well, I don't have a foot pedal I can drop to the floor to do it with.
Phooey.
Yeah, we're just gonna hope the sun's beating out this clouds.
No, it won't. I dribbled on white.
Yeah, well, I set everything up for a high flow and now it's not, so.
You're gonna go up and down?
I was just gonna go right up to the start here and drift down this.
Okay.
Okay. There's the sun.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a little drive back up to the top and start our drift from up there.
I kept the big one out.
Yeah, probably. Beautiful drive up Lake Taneycomo here. It is very windy out here today. I'm sure Phil already went over that. Winds in the 30 to 40 mile an hour range here. Okay, so I'm assuming all this equipment's still running good. We're going to start right across from Point Royale and Andy Williams' house. I'm going to try to turn the boat and drift in a manner that allows the sun not to be in the camera. My rig up here is the size 12 snap swivel sliding up and down my line, stopping on a size 12 barrel swivel. I've got an 1/8 ounce bell sinker weight. This leader's a little short, but I think it's still going to work. About 1.5 foot, a 4-pound test to a rainbow flavored 762. This is one of the ones that we sell up in the shop. And this wind is going to mess my drift all up today. Ideally, in these kind of conditions, I'm just literally trying to keep my line as straight forward upstream as possible here. That's what's going to give me my best drift. But the wind is not conducive for that right now. Oh my goodness. I still haven't felt the bottom yet. There's a really good chance the way my bait's getting whipped around that I've already picked up moss on the bill. Oh, there's a bottom bounce. Found one. So they were cranking the water what looked like 4 units. It's slowed down a touch. I'd say it's still in the 2 unit range here. But this would have been even sweeter if that water had kept running the speed it was. Dragging these jerkbaits in high water is an effective method to just catch trout in general during high water, and it's a way that you can wind up hooking into one of those big boys too. Of course, now that they've slowed it down as much as they have, it may not work. This happens to me all the time. I get something set up to come out and fish with, and then they change the water flow. These fish have not seen water moving that fast in quite some time. And I find here on the lake that whenever they go from getting used to a certain flow, or just the water being a certain way or within a certain parameter, and then it goes outside of that parameter really fast, that it generally makes them stop eating for a little bit until they can get used to what's going on again. However, a 1-cast first today. A transfer of the camera while on the lake. Yeah, this is just not conducive. If they had just left the water alone. At this point, I'm going to say they slowed it down. Slower than 2 units. It's feeling more like 1 unit, if not slower. I also brought my big jerkbait rod with the Signature Series 110+1. When that water's moving nice and fast, that big deep diving 110+1 is another great way to target the aggressive and bigger trout. Which if this doesn't pan out for the next few minutes, then we might just switch over to throwing the big jerkbait. Why not? Well, I just don't think that the dragging the jerkbaits thing here is going to catch me a fish. The water has slowed down too much. So we might switch over to throwing the big jerkbait for a second. See how that goes. It couldn't certainly catch me any less fish. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. That is what we are gonna do. I might pick this back up down at the Narrows. That'd be a really long video if I waited that long, but the water at the Narrows will be going faster for a while. Probably a little bit better for that jerkbait. So here is the 110+1 Signature Series Juvenile Rainbow pattern. I have the same size 12 snap swivel. We've got these lures balanced with the snap swivel so that they will suspend. Now, what I'm doing here, I know I've talked about it before, it's called loose line slapping. And it leaving that slack in the line and popping the slack. I'm never actually reeling the lure, just popping the slack. It's causing that jerkbait to walk left and right real sporadically under the water. In hopes of triggering a reaction bite from a very aggressive trout, whether he be small or big, or from a bigger trout. And in the oh so often, or not very often, chance of a smallmouth or a walleye laying on the bank, we'll sometimes go for this. I'm really just about 25-30 foot off the bank. I'm expecting most of my strikes within that first 10-15 foot from the bank. Once again, I would have preferred this method as well, with the water moving faster. When the water is moving faster, you do not have to move the jerk bait as fast because the water is also pushing it. But when the water is moving slower, you really have to speed up that action in order to get a reaction from the fish. It's the same thing with the lure dragging on the bottom. Whenever it's moving faster down the lake, they have to react to it. If they have time to look at it and see that it's not quite real, then they're not going to go for it. Oh, the wind is just blowing me directly back into the bank. Very unfavorable. Phil switched over to the north bank. He's fishing the very shallow side over there. So far, we are both at a fat 0 here. If your arm isn't worn out after about 15 minutes of doing this, you're not doing it right. You really do want to get as close to the bank as you can. Okay, well, this method's not proving any more effective than any of the methods you've seen so far. We're getting close to the narrows. I'm gonna go back to the jerkbait, dragging the jerkbait. We're gonna pick a different color this time though. Oh, let's see. Come on now. Alright, we're gonna go with this little guy. I do not remember the name of it. It's a red face, silver side, black speckled back. I'm gonna leave the boat facing nose down. Well, this was all the rod setups I brought with me. I didn't bring anything else. I think this flow right now would honestly be perfect for an egg pattern in a scud. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go back to the rainbow. I know, I'm being indecisive. I actually think I like the way this shorter leader was dragging with the slower water. Just something else I find out here. If I am dragging anything, jerk bait or flies, usually the slower the water, the shorter I'll make my leader. Oh boy, we're gonna get over here real quick like. I'm in one of the brand new boats right now. I really don't feel like dragging the skag through the gravel on this bar. It just goes to show here on Taney, you got to be ready to change up your method at any time. Or come prepared with multiple methods. Going directly through the channel right now. Narrows. I think this is where I'm going to be have my best chance to maybe hook a fish on this method. Nope. I'm really hoping that this will be the spot, but fat zero for me too.
That one. Dragging a white jig.
Phil says that he caught one finally dragging a white jig down through here. I'm going to give it a second longer and I'm going to sign off because this wind and ever-changing water flow is not conducive. It's hit and miss for me. I guess it depends on the storm, but sometimes right before a storm they bite great.
Well, the storm is 12 hours off.
I said while I was up there fishing, I said that you know, these fish haven't seen a really fast flow all of a sudden like that in a while either. That might mess up their eating pattern. Well, I'm calling it. We thank you guys for watching today. We'll be back out here to do it again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.